Hello and welcome from Sydney, Australia. Uh, Today I'll be making a video, once it goes into focus, about why I've transitioned from the Z Fold 4 to the S23 Ultra. Now really it's not about the specific phone, although this is a very lovely phone that I've had for one day. It's more about the form factor. Um, why I am a bit hesitant on foldable phones, at least in the way that Samsung has envisaged them, um, and why I'll be transitioning and why this particular kind of glass slab form factor meets my personal needs more. Now, yesterday in Australia, it was the last day for pre-orders for this particular phone here. And frankly, the trade-in deals were not very enticing, not very attractive, but I did it anyway because um, because of the reasons I'll discuss later in this video. I've owned many different Android phones throughout my life, even a couple of iPhones. And what I'm looking for in a phone has changed quite a bit in the last 3 to 4 years. Um, for me, a phone needs to be able to not get in the way of what you're trying to do. It needs to, for example, last the working day. Needs to have good enough build quality so that you're not concerned about always damaging the phone. It needs to be fast enough to do everyday tasks, not necessarily like video editing or gaming or anything like that, but just opening emails, sending pictures, watching YouTube videos at 2 times speed. These are all things that an everyday smartphone should be able to do. And it needs to, for me, some way of keeping me interested. Phones are very personal devices. I like being able to personalize them. I like them to have some sort of quirky feature. And definitely the S23 Ultra, I feel like it's a very standard but also pretty quirky phone in terms of the S Pen functionality, and the Z Fold 4 is peak quirkiness. So anyhow, both of these phones are great everyday phones, but now I'd like to discuss with you why the S23 Ultra or any glass slab flagship kind of phone is probably a better fit for me personally. I'll talk firstly about reasons that didn't cause me to transition, because the folding form factor of the Z Fold 4 does have some deficits compared to the glass slab flagships from the same brand. For example, some people, the camera quality was a big talking point, or the S Pen not being built into the phone and not having the Bluetooth functionality on the Z Fold 4 as opposed to the inbuilt and Bluetooth one on the S Ultra series of the Samsung. Concerns about the weight and bulkiness of the Z Fold 4, as well as the concerns about the build quality and the durability of the Z Fold 4, especially the folding hinge mechanism and the soft screen and screen protector situation on the Z Fold 4. These are not problems that really concerned me. I've had the Z Fold 2 in the past and now the Z Fold 4, and those aren't really concerns that would have swayed me in either of those two phones. However, the first reason why I've made this transition is because I don't really think the Z Fold 4 screen, the internal screen, really does much for me personally. Now, when I use the Z Fold 4, the main benefit to me is the being able to read, basically. Read across a textbook, a novel, was very good. However, that's just not an activity I do a lot anymore. Same with content creation, same with gaming. I think those are sort of the main beneficial areas for that large internal screen. content consumption really isn't that much more effective on the internal screen on the Z Fold 4. When you actually open it up and have those black bars at the top and the bottom, the screen size is slightly bigger than a a traditional glass slab phone like the S23 Ultra. Um, so that's that. And because it's a feature I don't use or benefit from a lot, and it comes with significant trade backs, um, then that really defeats the purpose of the having the foldable phone and the larger internal screen. Occasionally I would use it and it would be glorious when I did use it, but um, the frequency with which I used it probably um, didn't warrant me having to put up with the burden of the Z Fold 4. So that's basically it. The second reason is the battery life on the Z Fold 4. And even the flips, they're quite anemic, I would have to say. Oopsies. They're quite anemic. And not only that, the charging speeds were not particularly impressive. Like, I have this Realme phone here that I used for a long time, and I use it to just have scripts for YouTube videos now. But basically, I use it for DoorDash deliveries, and the battery life lasted a whole shift, and the charging is faster than the Z Fold series, and it didn't get in the way and stopping me from using my phone. But I found that the Z Fold 4 battery isn't quite at the level where it meets my daily needs. I generally have to plug it in before I finish work, and that's particularly problematic for me because sometimes I work for more than 12 hours a day, and I'd have to charge it in the middle of the day, and sometimes I wouldn't have access to a charger because I was so busy at work, and then that would cause problems later down the line. The S23 has improved SoC, more efficient SoC. It's got a bit of bigger battery life than the S23 Ultra, and it's got the 45 watt charging as opposed to 25 watt charging, which is nothing compared to a lot of Chinese phones still. Like the phone that I'm using to shoot this video, the Motorola Edge 30 Ultra, has 125 watt charging from a generic charging brick, not like a PowerVook or SuperVook or some of those other proprietary charging technologies by phones like OnePlus or Realme. So that's been really excellent, and I can charge this phone in 20 to 30 minutes. Quickly jump in the shower, plug the phone in, come out and have a confident level of a battery. Even if the battery isn't that large, it's only 4,500 milliamp hours or whatever the units are. I forgot on the top of my head. Yeah, like the Z Fold 4 battery isn't good, and it charges slowly, and that doesn't meet the requirements for my everyday phone. And the last reason is quite petty, but the lack of accessories for the Z Fold 4. It's a phone that is a bit of a weird form factor, and it's difficult to find accessories to mount the phone, let's say on a quad lock mount effectively, or a magnetic mount for MagSafe charger. Very difficult to find. That's not like a custom thing that you just put a ring of magnets onto your phone. Mounting it into your car can be fairly awkward. Finding cases that you like for the phone is a bit awkward, and usually a lot of these accessories help you to negate the disadvantages of the phone, such as the battery. So if I had a bunch of MagSafe batteries I could just quickly slap onto it, that would be awesome. But really, I do like customizing the phone with some aftermarket accessories or even first-party accessories. And the lack of accessories makes using the phone less fun to me. Like, look at all the accessories the iPhone has. That's really amazing. They've got this whole ecosystem of accessories available to them, and the experience is just much more enjoyable when you have those available to you. But yeah, those are my basic three reasons why I have transitioned from the Z Fold 4. And we will see how the S23 Ultra fares over the next few months. I do tend to change my phone a lot, but I really think this will be the one that I hold on to at least for a year, and perhaps even two, because I don't really expect this to change very much. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.